This video will cover the Diff Events widget and some modifications that you can make to the Events Transaction and NVMe Transaction widget with the Details widget information. So in order to find the Diff Events widget, you can click on the plus button in any of the widget docking locations that we have in the default layout. You can search for it with a search bar up top, find it there, or you can scroll down and find it in alphabetical order. You can double click on whichever widget you want to add or hit the plus button to add it to that widget spot. Once it's been added, you can highlight two events. So if I wanted to see the differences between the two TS1s, I can highlight the first one with the left click, control click the second one, and within the Diff Events widget, it'll highlight the different packets in green. If I wanted to just see the two packets or the packets that are different, I can go to Layout and List, and it will list the packets that are different between those two events or transactions depending on what you're looking at. Similar to our data widget, you can also change the format from hex to binary depending on how you want to look at it, the width from by 4 all the way to by 32. The layout we discussed, data bytes or list. Packet, you can see the whole packet, the header and payload, or just the payload. You can show or hide the ASCII decode, and you can also show the big and little endians. So for the Diff Events widget, that's all you can do there, and that's any packets within. Use control click one and the next, and it's only the two. So your control click always changes which one you're highlighting to compare. So for the details widget information, there are multiple columns that you can make out of the details widget info. So here we have the ordered set, the link number, and the lane number. If I wanted to see those in the column without having to constantly look over to the details widget, I can click and drag those in there. So once we see this change from pads to actual link numbers, we can quickly see that in the trace and in the events widget without having to jump to the details. And any field in the details widget that is highlighted with this little hand symbol when you hover over it can be made into a column in the events, transactions, or NVMe transactions widgets. So if I click on the config read here, I can click and drag the STP, any other TLP length. So pretty much any field within the details widget, I can click and drag over and make a column. Once I've made that column, I can right click on the column header. Oh, and just to make sure clarified, in order to make the column, grab the field you want and it'll highlight the header column in green and drop it in there. Once you've dropped it in, you can right click on the column header, scroll down, find the new fields that you've added at the bottom. They'll have trash cans and gear buttons next to them. The gear button allows you to configure it and filter that column. So if you wanted to see the information hexadecimal or decimal, you can change that value and decode value only, or just the decode only. Change the alignment left, right, or center, and then you can add conditional formatting to it. So if you want to see values equal to, not equal to, between, not between, greater than, less than, greater than, equal to, less than, or equal to, you can choose any of those. So choose 0 background. So the foreground will highlight the text, the background will highlight the background of the column. Or if you wanted to, you can hide them, and then any of your conditional formattings that you've added in, you can delete, and you can do multiple conditional formattings on each column. Once you've made your changes and you're happy with them, click Save. And now you can go through and see that. And of course, I forgot, let's set that to 1. There we go. We can actually go back and find the first TS1 and see the pads, and I'll have that highlighted to where if I only wanted to see the pads, so I can go back here. Because I know this is a single link, so that will only go through and highlight the pads, or if for whatever reason to try to establish multiple links through this. So that's the diff events, and then making columns out of information in the details widget. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us at support@serialtech.com. Thank you.